Hit escape, go to options. Here's where you change your matchmaking privacy, so if you don't want random people joining, or if you're having trouble having your friends join, most people are going to want to be on friends only. If you're solo, or if you're wanting to play with randoms, you can totally set it to public. And I leave crossplay on. I like remember aim mode per weapon. Basically, this is if you're going to be aiming down the sights, or if you're going to be aiming in third person whenever you hold right click, essentially. And remember weapon functions is kind of similar. The only problem with remember weapon functions is it only applies to that instance of the gun. So if you call down a stalwart, you set it to the highest fire rate, and you die, whenever you pick that stalwart up again, or switch back to it, it'll still have that fire rate set. If you call down another one, or pick one up off the ground, or start a new round, you will need to set that up again. I also put this on a mouse key, so R only reloads my weapons. So if you have an extra mouse button, that is probably pretty high up on the priority of things you could put on your mouse. I would turn off Autoclimb during sprint. I'm pretty sure this is set to yes by default. What happens is you'll be running against some cover. Like if I was like this and I'm sprinting, my character with that option enabled might try to climb over this railing. I've heard that midnight mode is better for the audio, but with my headphones, I can't really tell it different. I'm pretty sure that what midnight mode does is makes those quieter sounds louder and those louder sounds quieter to kind of even them out. Otherwise, spend some time customizing your HUD. Here's another small tip. If you're waiting on your friends to join and you're the host, go ahead and come over to this console and hit E, because you'll probably have a message from Super Earth. Over on this terminal, this is the only place that you can actually customize your weapons, but you don't need to spend time selecting your weapons over here. You can just get into the Hell Pod. After you pick where you drop, over here, if you see it says press R or whatever it is on your controller, or you can click it, it switches over to the equipment tab. You can't customize your weapons here, but you can select your weapon. You can pick your armor, your helmet, your cape, your primary, your secondary, and your grenades. For stratagem selection, unless you're on an 8, 9, or 10, you can kind of bring whatever you want. If someone's like bitching at you about what you're deciding to bring on any difficulty below those, I wouldn't pay them much mind. The only ones that are really going to upset pubbies would be probably the Tesla Tower, anti-personnel minefield, incendiary mines, and the mortar sentry. There's a couple like the smoke stratagems. I think, yeah, there's an eagle smoke, orbital smoke strike. Those are kind of useless, if you ask me. I'm sure there's some build you can put together with stealth armor and some other things that make them worth a damn. And they do close bug holes and stuff like that if they hit directly. I've never really gotten the point of bringing something like orbital smoke or orbital EMS when you can just bring something that actually does damage. Like the precision strike, you get one every 77 seconds. That's about the same cooldown as the orbital smoke, and it actually does damage. All that's kind of just user preference though, but if you're playing with randoms, I really wouldn't recommend the mortar outside of a defense mission. Tesla Tower, the mines of really any kind, and the gas mines. The anti-tank mines are pretty safe. If you're standing on one and an explosion goes off, it will blow you up, but they're really obvious. Whereas the AP mines, the incendiary mines, and the gas mines, they're really hard to see. Like on a swamp planet, the gas mines blend in. On a planet with lava on the ground, the incendiary mines are basically invisible. If you're playing with randoms, those are the only ones I would really avoid. Everything else, if you want to talk with your team and come up with a strategy, that's usually best. Like you can oftentimes get away with one of you brings some support equipment. After your cooldown's up, like you spawn in, you throw your stuff down, you pick it up, let your cooldown run down, then you can give your buddy some support equipment, and they can instead bring something, you know, they could bring 4 orbitals if they wanted to. I do want to talk about boosters very quickly. So, except for one booster on this list, and I'm missing a few from some war bonds that I don't have, they're all pretty useful, or they don't hurt anything. But for the most part, if you've got a team of 4, you're not sure what to bring, vitality, stamina, and hell pod space optimization, you basically always want to bring these because they're so good. Vitality just reduces damage, stamina increases the amount of stamina you have, and hell pod space optimization means whenever you land in, you're fully loaded out like you are at the beginning of the mission every single time. Muscle enhancement is also a good one. It lets you move through like bushes and other messed up terrain a little quicker, I believe. If you're not too sure about a mission, I kind of like flexible reinforcement budget more than increased reinforcement budget. Increased gives you a total of like 4 extra respawns, whereas flexible reduces the cooldown. Once you run out of respawns, a timer starts. It's like a minute and a half or something like that. Flexible reinforcement budget reduces that timer. My advice would be just don't die that many times, but if you think that you're going to, or if you have a member of your team that's going to die a lot to where you might run out of reinforcements, this one will save matches, because the last man standing can just let that timer come down. He can throw somebody in, that'll use part of the reinforcement, and then you let the timer run down again, you can throw somebody, you can have the whole team back in like a couple minutes. Expert extraction pilot's okay, especially on planets and missions where the pilot takes freaking forever to take off. Most of these other ones aren't super useful. Firebomb hell pods, you're going to end up setting your teammates on fire and yourself on fire all the time because you're going to forget about this. And dead sprint is the one that I would just entirely avoid. If you're playing the game right, you should be utilizing that stamina bar all the time. What tends to happen with this one on is you'll be just taking damage and not understanding why you're dying. It's because you're completely out of stamina, and instead it drains your health for stamina. I don't think that this is a good booster. I would just avoid this one entirely unless your team all agrees that you should bring it. Armed resupply pods is kind of fun for the defense missions because you just throw resupplies down. Ammo's not really a super big problem on those because there's so many of the ammo packs that spawn. Those turrets can actually do some work. I think they're comparable to like the basic machine gun turret almost, maybe a little bit less damage, but they're fine. The sample extractor, and I don't think I have it, but there's some other sample focused one. I've never really seen those do anything besides drop some common sample, and you can only get 10 per mission. I guess if you're all high level except you have a buddy who just bought the game, this one might be pretty useful for them, but usually it's rare samples that people are struggling with. The super samples are kind of easy because you can just see where they are on most maps if they spawn, and the commons you're getting so many of. Most people are full on commons while still having things to unlock, so situational, but like I said, I would stick with vitality, stamina, and hell pod, and then probably muscle enhancement after that. There's the smoke pod one. That one is okay. The only issue with it is, I discovered this recently, if you call down a turret, that counts as a hell pod, so it lands, the smoke comes out. The turret cannot see through that smoke until it dissipates. It's nice for being able to set a turret up somewhere and it be protected so it doesn't just instantly get blasted. On like a defense or something like that, you end up kind of screwing yourself more than you do the enemy, but it's perfect if you're going for a full stealth build. Same for localization confusion. So I'm gonna hop in. Alright, something else I like to do, and there's some controversy with this, whenever I first land with a team, I like to throw the resupply pod right away, because it's usually a long time before you get the resupply pod down. That way, if say we spawned in, this is just a level 1 just for demonstration, but if you spawned in, you're instantly in combat, you use all sorts of ammo, you have supplies already, and it's only 2 minutes until the next set of supplies come down. Just something to think about. If you ever have a hell pod that's in the way, like it's blocking you, or it's like blocking your turret's line of sight, you can blow them up, you can melee them, what was that, 5, 6, 7 times, and it'll go away, and it doesn't hurt you or anything like that. You can also climb on top of your hell pods. I guess the equipment hell pods are a little bit higher, and this could help you see over some cover, or maybe navigate some difficult terrain, or give you a little boost to jump over a wall or something. So the guard dog, if you look down in the bottom left, my guard dog has a little bar next to it. That's how much ammunition the guard dog actually has. If you press 5 on your keyboard, on console you'll have to look for like backpack activation. You can actually recall the guard dog. Also handy if you're trying to sneak past enemies, because the guard dog will just engage anything. It reloads that guard dog. The warp pack is actually, if you're worried about farming super credits, or if you're not sure which war bond to get, you've bought a few, the war bond that has the warp pack will make such a big difference. It's a good travel tool. You just hold spacebar or whatever your mantle key is, and it'll teleport you. If you look at that bar on the bottom left, or if you look at the orb above my Helldiver's head, when it's purple, you can teleport. It turns purple about 90% of a charge. When it's yellow, you'll either take some damage, you might break your arm, you might be caught on fire, something bad will happen to you, and it makes the charge take longer. As you saw there, my resupply just came back. More than likely, you'll not need ammo until that timer's ran out. Diving, which I think by default is your alt key, is probably your most powerful tool. Enemies have trouble shooting you when you dive. Your own turrets have trouble hitting you while you're prone. It's good for movement. Like, this is, you don't really necessarily have a jump key, so this is kind of how you can get over and on top of things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Just play with it quite a bit. You can avoid swipes from melee enemies, you can avoid gunfire. If a turret's about to shoot at you, you can dive out of the way. And what I was talking about before, like with the stalwart, I can click between different fire rates. If I drop it or change weapons or anything like that, whenever I pick it back up, it'll remember the last fire mode. But if I call down another one or found one out in the world, I'll have to set it back up again. The shotgun, you get it from the superstore. It's got a bayonet. It does medium armor pen. Holds quite a few rounds. But something that a lot of people don't know is you just hold the mouse. You just hold your fire button, and it's slam fire. It'll dump the whole magazine. As long as you're holding the trigger, it's essentially fully automatic. And it's really good. Like I said, it's a good shotgun. The Talon, you can get away with firing about 8 shots before you're about to overload it. It's a good get out of jail free card, and it fires literally as fast as you can click. And once it overheats, if you see your weapon the barrel hanging down like this, just press R and you'll load a new heatsink or capacitor or whatever the fuck it is. Last bonus tip with either revolver, meaning the Senator or the Talon, if you hold your weapon modification key, your character will start spinning the revolver around, and you can do it while you're moving. It just looks cool. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully some of this was interesting to somebody. If you learned something, let me know in the comments. These are very basic tips, but stuff that I see a lot of people missing. If I got anything wrong, let me know. If you have any more tips to share, put them in the comments below. Thanks.